excited to meet you. We've heard great things about you.
Really? From who?
Are you kidding? Everyone knows who you are.
Heaven's an exciting place when someone finishes their race.
Especially the way you did. We all hear about it.
Oh, I didn't realize that anyone knew who I was, especially here in heaven. I always tried to lead a quiet life.
Well, your quiet life had a big impact on the kingdom.
Really? My life was nothing like I imagined it would be. They rarely are. Well, I thought I had more time. I didn't expect to be finished so early. There was so much more I wanted to do. So many kids I wanted to get to that never got to hear the gospel.
Well, sometimes finishing your race with joy isn't how we think it is. Cassie, tell her about your race.
It was a normal day that started just like every other Tuesday. I was studying in the library when I heard these horrible noises like gunshots. The next thing I know, my substitute teacher came in the room, telling everyone to get down and find her to the table. The gunmen came in, firing at people left and right. The gunshots were so loud. I hit my face with my hands, just hoping it was a bad dream. Then I felt something cold against the back of my neck. It was a gun. The gunman asked me, "Do you believe in God?" I said yes.
Wow, I had no idea that was you. Do you realize that after you died, I was inspired by your faith? I was just a teenager myself at the time, and your bravery is what inspired me to go out into the world and become a missionary myself.
At the time, I was so scared, but I knew that I had to stand and say, "I believe," even if it cost me everything. When my life was flashing before my eyes, I saw Sami. Her impact on me, I read her biography the year before.
I still can't believe there's biography on my life.
That gets me every time. Well, it changed my life.
Well, I was just trying to follow the call that God had for me, but it led me to what seems like the ends of the earth.
Wait a minute. I think I know who you are. I think I've heard your story before.
Her story is so powerful.
When I was 19, I decided to go on what I thought was a 6-month mission trip to Africa. Well, 3 years later, I was still traveling all around Uganda, preaching to villages who had never even seen an outsider. Well, I heard about this man who was a false prophet, and he was leaving this village. I decided that I would be the one to go and preach the good news of Jesus. Well, a few days into our messages, his followers heard about us. They drug us from our tents and took us to the city square. They wanted to instill fear into all the village. What they didn't expect is that we would be praising God in the face of our executors. That day, thousands were saved. I just can't believe that my life impacted someone in America.
In my life's last moments, I thought of you. The fear you must have felt and the courage you had to go anyway. I knew that I could stand and say, "I believe," because you had gone before me.
And because you stood, Cassie, my life was forever changed. I always knew I loved the Lord, but I can never seem to share my faith. Then I saw what you did on the news, and I thought, if she can do it, so can I. Then I spent the rest of my life making sure that every child I could get my hands on knew who Jesus was. That's what I was doing when I finished my race, all the way in North Korea. I remember everything, word for word. All right, kids, you have to be very, very quiet. You don't want anyone to hear us. Now, today we're going to talk about some of Jesus' miracles, like his honey. Kids, I hear someone coming. There's a window at the end of the hallway. Go climb out it, hurry. Then the soldiers came for me. They kicked down the door and immediately began accusing me of secretly holding church in my basement. I refused to deny it like most people would have. I thought that maybe I could lead these two soldiers to Christ. I was wrong. They told me that the punishment for my crime was execution. I looked up to the sky and said, "My race is finished." That's the last thing I saw before the knife went in and I saw the gates of heaven.
Until you get here and you can see the whole picture, you don't really know what your life meant to others.
That day, revolution broke out and thousands were saved.
Not counting the thousands you had already saved in your underground church.
How? I didn't realize what an impact I had, all because I finished my race with joy. Now I can see the full impact we all had. Even though our races finished the way they did,
And as early as they did.
we finished them with joy, like Acts 20:24. But none of these things move me, nor do I count my own life dear to myself, that I may finish my race with joy. The future of those people that we impacted meant more to us than our own lives. Now look at what we've caused. Imagine what those people could be doing now.
I bet I know.
What we did, running the races and spreading the gospel. I can't wait to see what their futures hold for them. They get to do things that we never got to.
And we'll get to see their work the whole way through.